You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right.
One player, 5 technical fouls, 3 more, and the league's biggest star sits out a game. And an entire fan base is convinced the whole thing is rigged against her. So is Caitlin Clark actually being targeted, or is she doing exactly what every superstar before her has done? That's the real question. Let's get into it.
Feels like Caitlin Clark doesn't flex her power enough. It doesn't. I'm watching the game the other night. USA runs a promotion for tonight's game. They got Kelsey Mitchell in the promotion on the left side of the screen. They did that twice. And I'm like,
that's the gripe a lot of fans have right now. Clark is the engine that runs this league, and yet it can feel like the marketing puts her on the back burner. Now, you can argue the marketing point all day, but the draw is not up for debate. She's putting up roughly 21 points and 8 assists a night. The Fever are sitting 3rd in the Eastern Conference, and she remains the single biggest reason new eyes are on this sport. That part isn't opinion, it's the box office.
Team right now, in its current state of affairs, if Caitlin Clark wasn't playing. Some people have tuned out even with her playing as a boycott to Stephanie White in the front office. The ratings are still big. I got a video coming on that. But
now he brings up the idea of a fan boycott tied to the coaching situation in Indiana. And here's where we separate fact from feeling. The tension between Clark and head coach Stephanie White has been one of the most reported storylines of the entire 2026 season, and we'll get to exactly what's confirmed and what isn't. But the ratings claim holds up on its own. Going back to her rookie year in 2024, Clark has driven record viewership and record attendance everywhere she goes. The Clark effect is real, and it's measurable. Whatever drama swirls around the Fever, she is still the one moving the numbers.
So this article, the fascinating case of Caitlin Clark versus the WNBA, who controls the spirit of the sport? Well, it ought to be Caitlin Clark, because other than that, nobody cares.
Okay, so let's talk about the actual flashpoint, because this all traces back to one night. June 22nd, 2026, Gainbridge Fieldhouse. The Fever beat the Phoenix Mercury 86-77. Late in that game, Clark picked up her 5th technical foul of the season after a back-and-forth with Mercury veteran Duana Bonner, who, fittingly, used to play for Indiana. Clark went straight to the official, Gerda Gatling, and was told the technical was for clapping and instigating. Clark fired right back that if clapping gets you teed up, then somebody doesn't like competitive basketball. She called the whole thing ridiculous. And according to reporting from The Athletic, the Fever are planning to appeal it. That's the spark. The column the host is reacting to asks a bigger question on top of it. Who actually controls the spirit of this sport? It's worth noting that beat writer Annie Costabile shared that piece. The column itself was written by Brian Hamilton. So when people pile on, they should at least know who wrote what.
The Jordan rules. Anybody? Oh, y'all aren't old enough to remember the Jordan rules. After the bad boy Pistons and all that mess back in the day. Why did they do that? David Stern said, oh, we're about to make a gargantuan amount of money. Our league is about to grow in a gargantuan way. Get out of Jordan's way. Let him fly through the air with his tongue out.
Now this is the most interesting argument he makes, and it deserves to be taken seriously. The Jordan rules. Back in the late 80s, the Detroit Pistons built an entire defensive scheme designed to punish Michael Jordan physically every time he drove the lane. And the story goes that as the NBA exploded into a global business, the league had every incentive to protect and promote its golden goose. Stars getting a little extra room from officials, that's not a conspiracy theory. That's just how leagues have always operated. So the host isn't wrong that superstar treatment is a real thing, but here's the nuance that complicates the picture. The officiating problem in 2026 is not a Caitlin Clark problem. It's a league-wide problem. The WNBA went into this season with a new points of emphasis on physical play, and the result was a massive spike in fouls across the board. Stars everywhere have been furious about it. Breanna Stewart complained that the constant whistle kills the flow of the game. Natasha Cloud went off on officials after a chaotic game in which Chicago's Rickea Jackson tore her ACL. So Clark's frustration isn't her against the world. She's one voice in a much louder chorus.
Knows it. People use the juice they have. This is not new. One of Clark's few WNBA peers in terms of worldwide renown is Angel Reese. Plays for Atlanta because she decided she didn't want to play for Chicago anymore. Coincidentally, Reese also picked up her 5th technical foul of the season on Monday, and the Dream are appealing the call in hopes that it'll be overturned. Or is it...
And this is where the player empowerment angle really lands, because the host actually nails the parallel. Look at the same exact week, the very next day, June 23rd. Angel Reese also picked up her 5th technical foul of the season. Both players are now staring at the same math: a $1,000 fine, a warning letter from the league, and an automatic 1-game suspension waiting at 8 technicals. And Reese is the perfect example of a star bending the situation to her will. She forced her way out of Chicago. After publicly ripping the Sky's front office at the end of 2025, she was traded to the Atlanta Dream on April 6th of this year, and she's been open about wanting to be somewhere she could win. So pushing back, using your leverage, making noise until something changes, that is not unique to Caitlin Clark. That is the modern WNBA superstar playbook, and more than one player is running it.
Coincidence. This is what influencers do. They influence. It feels more novel in this universe. One loud appeal of a decision, and we'll see if the terms of engagement are reset. We'll see if the most powerful players in the WNBA's player empowerment can dictate the league as opposed to a...
So let's actually read the column charitably, instead of torching it. The real argument Hamilton is making is this: when the most famous player in the sport publicly declares a call wrong and dares the league to disagree, it becomes a test. A test of whether player power can bend the league or whether the league bends the player. That's a legitimate, fascinating media question. It is not a hit piece on Caitlin Clark. And here's the detail that completely scrambles the idea that the press is out to get her. Earlier this season, when nearly every player and coach was screaming about the new officiating standards, Clark was one of the very few stars who actually publicly defended the refs and the new points of emphasis. And just back on June 12th, she said a technical she got was deserved, that she wanted it, because it got her to the free throw line more often. So the tidy story of the league versus Caitlin Clark, the real record is a lot messier than that.
Like we're Jedis. You will believe everything I tell you. You will watch this game and believe that Caitlin Clark walks on water. Oh, she does? My bad. Yeah. Tell me what you think. Hit subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. The media. The fuck.
So let's pull all of this together, because the truth here is more interesting than the outrage version. Start with what we actually know for certain. On June 22nd, Caitlin Clark picked up technical number 5. The Fever are appealing it. 8 technicals means an automatic suspension, and she is now 3 away from missing a game. And all of this is happening inside a season where the WNBA's own officiating crackdown sent fouls skyrocketing and made enemies out of stars on nearly every roster. None of that is in dispute. That's the spine of the story. Now the part everyone wants to be true, that the front office, the coaching staff, and the media are all conspiring to sabotage their own biggest star. Let's be honest about where that actually comes from. The loudest version of it has been pushed by commentators on social media. Jason Whitlock floated a trade sending Clark to the Los Angeles Sparks, called Coach Stephanie White crazy, and openly told Clark to demand a trade. Skip Bayless posted that White had been fired, and that one got shut down fast. Chloe Peterson of the Indy Star reported there was no validity to it whatsoever. Michael Thompson said he was hearing the Fever don't want her anymore. That's the engine of the conspiracy narrative. Talking heads and tweets. And what have the actual people involved said? Clark and White have repeatedly denied there's a rift. After one viral sideline moment, during a loss to Portland, they both sat in front of cameras and called the whole thing speculation. And White pushed back hard on the idea that chatter from social media accounts should be treated as real journalism. So when you hear that the Fever are deliberately torpedoing the most valuable player in the sport, understand that the people closest to it keep saying it isn't happening, and at least one specific report has already been debunked on the record. So here's the fair takeaway. Caitlin Clark is doing what every superstar does. She's using her voice and her leverage, and there is nothing wrong with that. Angel Reese is doing the same thing across the league. At the same time, the WNBA has a genuine, unsolved officiating consistency problem that it has not gotten under control. And that's a fair criticism that has nothing to do with playing favorites. What doesn't hold up is the idea that this is some coordinated war on one player. That part is mostly vibes, which brings us to the question that actually matters, and I want your answer in the comments. Should the WNBA give its biggest star the Jordan treatment, a little extra room from the whistle to protect the product and the money she brings in? Or should every single player, Clark, Reese, all of them, get held to the exact same standard, even if that standard ends up costing the league its marquee attraction for a game? You can't have it both ways. Pick a side and tell me why. If this breakdown made you think, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.